What's up guys, welcome back to another weekly tech news episode. This past week has been fiery. There's been some saucy stuff going on with Apple and the App Store and the PS5. Sony released the PS5, the Wi-Fi router looking PS5, which actually looks kind of good. I'll get into that later. Before further ado, let's get right into it. So, our first news for today, the fiery stuff going on with the App Store. Now, if you have an iPhone, you know that to download apps on your iPhone, you have to use the App Store. That's the only platform or the only app you can use to download illegal apps on your phone. Now, Apple has been in some feisty hot water these couple of weeks, and it's because, according to some claims, they're playing bully to other smaller app developers in the App Store. So there's this company, there's this app called Hey. It provides a $99 a year premium email service. Hey, like every other app, went to Apple's like, can I put my app on the App Store? And they were like, sure, let's do it. And so Apple initially agreed. But then Apple asked Hey to pay 30% of the company's revenue to Apple. And now that's a lot of money. 30% of the entire app. All that revenue is going for Apple, and the only thing Apple is doing is displaying that app on the App Store. Now, Hey was like, no, we cannot pay 30%. That is way too much for us. Our company will not be profitable if we pay that much. And Apple is like, fine, don't pay. And they basically just canceled Hey from the App Store. And this has been going on for some time now. This isn't the first case where Apple has sort of played, again, bully to these smaller app developers. But the situation of Hey has brought in a lot of interest. And then all of a sudden, this could have not come at the worst time for Apple, because now the EU, yes, the European Union, is launching an antitrust investigation into the App Store and Apple Pay. Now an antitrust investigation is just a service investigation into how a business or corporation performs their business. And there's been some suspicion going on and some secrets and rumble about how Apple, the App Store, as we know, and Apple Pay have been doing some silent things which shouldn't be allowed. And in the US, they're doing the same thing. The House Antitrust Committee, which is an antitrust committee in the US, is also launching an investigation to companies such as Amazon, Google, Facebook, and Apple to testify, as part of a larger conversation and report into the digital marketplace. And Tim Cook, Apple CEO, when called upon to talk at this hearing and this investigation, was just like, nah, I don't think so. Okay, so essentially, in summary, what is going on? So the problem actually lies, of course, in Apple charging this massive amount of money to these small developers, but also about competition in the digital marketplace. Now, you have such a big app store like Apple's App Store, which is the only primary app store on Apple and is one of the very few app stores even out there. And this app and this function that Apple provides is essentially using its power to further use small companies such as Hey for profit. A House representative even said that Apple is charging really exorbitant rents like and I quote, highway robbery, right? So I think that just puts into perspective how much the government and the House of Antitrust Issues is actually looking into this scenario. It's the first ever antitrust issue that the House has actually even investigated in the last 50 years. And so this is definitely kind of serious. But here's where the story gets a bit more feisty. So Microsoft has come out and has condemned Apple for all that's going on with the App Store right now. Microsoft's chief legal officer, his name is Brad Smith, talked about it and was just talking about the App Store in general, and he said specifically the App Store has set up these huge walls and essentially these huge tolls to enter. So to enter this premium area, which is one of the very few areas in the world where a software developer can actually showcase their app to the world, and to enter the space, there is such a high roll and it's getting harder every day to enter it. And of course, the App Store may even charge 30%, which is an astronomical fee for just displaying your app and allowing users to download the app from your software. So certainly you could say a time where a lot of interest has been put into larger companies, again, in the digital marketplace. You know, about the nature of app stores, the rules that are implied in these app stores, about the apps that you download. Even the free apps that you have obviously earn revenue, and some of that revenue goes to Apple. And so how much of that revenue should go to Apple? And let's say Apple treats these apps which you use rather unfavorably, like they did to Hey. Those apps could completely be cancelled out of the app store like that. Like no one else could download them and you could use them on your iPhone. And so yeah, let's get back into the Microsoft issue about this, and Microsoft coming down and saying, nah, what y'all are doing ain't right, chief. Microsoft, rather ironically, has some experience with antitrust issues too. They've abused and monopolized Internet Explorer. So when you get a Windows computer, third-party apps aren't really allowed, and third-party browsers weren't really allowed into this sort of platform. And so essentially a monopoly was forming of Internet Explorer, which is of course Microsoft's own software. And so Microsoft Windows users weren't given any other option. And so that was when the Antitrust Committee came and was like, yo, hold up, open up your software and open up your OS to more third-party intervention and more third-party browsers. And that's what eventually happened. So right now, Microsoft is sitting on the sidelines of this issue and was like, yeah, come on, Antitrust Committee, beat them up. Yeah, there's actually a good reason for that. It's not because, and there's a really good reason for that. It's not because Microsoft hates Apple and they've been competitors for years. The truth is Microsoft actually uses the App Store too. They were gonna release an xCloud game on the App Store, and and annually they come out to WWDC and talk about the new updates on Office and the App Store and how different updates have affected performance on the iPad, iPhone, or Mac. And so Microsoft and Apple are rather connected. So for Microsoft to come out in the situation and go, yes, take action right now, it's also regarding them, because this can also happen to big companies. It's not only small companies that are getting affected. Imagine if Microsoft was asked to give 30% of their revenue to Apple from the App Store. That is a huge amount, like, again, astronomical. Yeah, this certainly affects everyone. Spotify and Epic Games are also other companies which are launching charges. Spotify actually launched an antitrust issue and complaint last year. So this is not a new issue. Why? Alright, now that we got Apple out of the way, let's go into the interesting PS5. Now, if you've been on the internet for a while, you would have seen the PS5 and the memes that have come with the PS5. The fact that it does look like a router. There's no hiding it. And if you guys watched MKBHD's video, he talked about a black PS5. A black PS5 would be really good. The PS5 is actually enormous. If you look at scale drawings on it, expected scale drawings, it is actually huge. So yeah, it can sit sideways in a TV shelf, but still, it is this huge console. I mean, you can go to another YouTube video and look at the specs. I'm not really going to go into that. But let's talk about the price for a second. They've just released a hardware video. That's it. No price. Nothing. If you guys watched MKBHD's video, again, he priced it around $500. And I think this is a good estimate of what you can expect it to cost. However, I think there's a bit of a conspiracy theory going around now about why they are not, showcasing the cost at this moment. And I think it's actually a really smart idea. They want to build up this interest. And with this interest, their marketers can look at all this interest that's been built up and look at what prices people are expecting to buy it at. And I think Sony may actually charge that price. Then again, Sony is this really big company, and to make your price dependent after you release a good and just expect public opinion to shape how much you price it can be kind of risky, because imagine if it's supposed to be a $600 console and everyone's like, oh yeah, it's just gonna be $500, $499. That's not gonna be good for you at all. But I'll be honest, I'm an Xbox guy. You know how it is. I mean, you can't even deny it. The Xbox Series X just looks better, alright? I mean, I get the PS5, I get that modern look. I mean, that's what the world is developing into. It's converging into this more modern, classy, not really classy, I would just say this more futuristical look, which Sony is like jumped through. But I just prefer the Xbox Series X. It may just be a black box with some design on the top or whatever, but it looks good. It's simple and it's small, it's tiny. There's not gonna be any trouble placing it in any place. So yeah, that's definitely why I like it, and it's no joke that some of the hardware in the Xbox Series X is a bit more powerful compared to the PlayStation, but we're not going to be able to compare this. Yes, they're good on paper and they're different on paper slightly, but performance in real tests, that's what matters. So we're going to have to wait for that. But yeah, that literally summarizes this week's weekly tech news. Not much, I know, it's just a feisty couple of things that are going on. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys found this video interesting. Go ahead and click subscribe right now. Click like, comment on the video, comment whatever you want. I don't mind. But again, remember to subscribe. It means a lot to me. Yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much, and see you in the next one.